Hey everybody. It's Hoop again. I'm back for good this time. I know. At this point, I'm starting to sound like an absentee parent who swears. This time they'll be around more and they'll do right by you. But yeah, no, we're back. It is it's season 2 of The Hatening. Thank you very much for coming back after our poorly executed hiatus that we didn't really articulate well with you guys. And it is what it is. This is the last time I'm going to bring it up. I know I've been bringing it up pretty consistently, but everybody needs a break. We needed a break, and then the holidays, and it's a crazy time we're living in, so it just was like easier. Started fresh and dove back in instead of, really, it was just me, like, not really being super motivated for one reason or another to really jump back into not the full-time job, but I mean, I'm sure you understand that, like, doing podcasts and stuff, like, it takes a lot of time and effort, like, on and off mic, you know what I mean? And then obviously, like, the quality shows depending on where you are and what you're doing and stuff like that. And so in order to keep the show at the quality that Andrew and I wanted to, you know what I mean? I had to take a little break. We're back now. What's up? So I want to begin season 2 really by just kind of like talking about, not really talking, but acknowledging that 2021 fucking sucked, like, on the whole, right? It's a new year. It's the beginning of January. It's my birthday time. Happy St. Hubert's Day to all who celebrate, which I hope is everyone. Drink a twisted tea and a yerb, listen to some screamo music. That's how you celebrate properly in Orthodox Hoopianity. I don't know if you're in any of the offshoots that have sprung up. But, 2021 was really rough. It was a really transformative year for me. And I'm sure it was for you guys too. And I try not to get super personal about my stuff on here, and I'm not going to, but I still feel like it will be good for me to sort of recap my year in a nutshell. And I think that, like, you guys probably should do something similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've thought about it a lot, but I feel like vocalizing it would help me sort of process it. And I think that it would help you guys too to sort of like reflect, and I know that that's like a whole big trope with New Year's, right? Is to, like, look back on the year and be thankful for this. And, like, the holiday season is supposed to be this time where you're, like, thankful and you're reminiscent and you're all this stuff. But I think that a good way to start season 2 would be to sort of like look back on 2021, because I mean, you guys have been around for probably like the biggest changes in my life, like, since becoming an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, through season 1 of this show, I went through a very big breakup with a long-term partner. It's so big that I would jokingly refer to it as the divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was on that level. We were together for the better part of a decade. And that was tough in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, not just us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of social dynamics had to shift and change because of that, and that, is what it is. And anyone who has gone through a breakup, like, knows, you know what that's like to go through a breakup in general. And anyone who's been in a long-term relationship, where you're living together and you have shared stuff, like, it's a whole thing that doesn't end as soon as you guys, break up. So that was sort of like a thing that, not a shadow that loomed over the year, but it definitely was like a big part of my life this year, this season. Although I guess technically, like, season 1 of The Hatening was like for a year and a half. I think moving forward, we're going to try and keep it year by year so we can organize these type of recaps better. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I went through a big, see, I almost said it right there, big divorce. I went through a big breakup, and that enforced a lot of my thinking and a lot of my attitude towards a lot of shit. I bought a house. I bought a house this year. That process was started around the time that this podcast started, I think. you know, and I was very fortunate that like all the dominoes sort of lined up. I'm coming on a year of being in my home, and it fucking rocks. Like, home ownership is cool as shit. Like, I understand my position, I'll say privileged, you know, that I was able to acquire a house. Like, I did it all on my own, and I understand that, like, looking at me being like a cis white dude who owns a house at 30 when most people I know like are struggling with rent and stuff, like, it may seem that like I came from like, not came from money, but like that I had all this outside help and all this like financial assistance, and like it seems trite at this point to do this like bootstrap, like did it myself thing. But I did. Like, I had help from my friend, like I had help from my family, and I had help from friends, you know, because my mom is in real estate, but it's not like, you know, anybody paid my down payment and stuff like that. Like, this very much was like something that I worked really hard for. So I'm very proud of my house. I'm proud of being a homeowner. You know what I mean? Like, in season 1, like, I got to live with one of my best friends, you know, and they'll be moving out soon. And then one of my other really close friends will be moving in. And that's been cool. Like, being two dudes, like 2 adult dudes in a house has been really fucking fun for me. You know, it's been cool because I've always had roommates. I've never like lived by myself, you know, like, and so it was cool. Being in this house before they moved in, though, was really intense. Like, when I first lived here, when I first moved in before my roommate moved, and I was like by myself after a breakup in a house that I bought like with another person in mind, you know, to a certain degree, whatever that's worth. Like, it was very intense. You know, like, I had a lot of things happen in 2021, even though we were in lockdown, right? You know, this is the first year I didn't really, like, 2021 was the first year I didn't really do anything musically. You know, I've been playing in bands since I was like 15, 14, something like that. You know, like, over half my life at this point, I've been in bands, like in active bands. And this is the first year that I didn't really play. I didn't play any shows, like, didn't release any music that came out this year. Maybe there was like a split that Islet did, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really do much. Like, that was weird adjusting to. People who like band people know what I'm talking about with that shit, you know? You're so used to going on tour and playing shows and releasing and recording and talking to everybody. And then now that like the pandemic was happening, like, you couldn't be around your bandmates, let alone play shows or anything. And so it's like, that dynamic was, that whole shift was like really hard to get used to, if I'm being honest. And so that was like difficult. Like, the podcasts were like the only main like steady thing that I had, because it was something that I could do, quote, solo, even though, like, you know, with Bolsheviks that I did with my previous podcasting partner, Jordan, like, he would come to the house every week. That was like a very steady social interaction that I had. I took it for granted. You know, I definitely did, looking back, because he left the show like halfway through the year, a little more than halfway through the year, like probably in the fall, in the early fall, I guess. You know, but like, that was like a big part of my social life, was doing the podcast with my friend, with my very good friend, you know, and now I'm doing it with Kevin. And so like, that's awesome too. But like, still, just like, that was like one of my social anchors, one of my actual, like, my weekly organizational anchors was Bolsheviks recording being the same day. Cause I'm used to having that, like, with band stuff, right? You know, band practices every Wednesday. You know, I used to do trivia at the bar every Tuesday, and that got taken away during COVID. Like, and then they tried to bring it back and it didn't really work. You know what I mean? Like, but this whole year it was like fucking crazy. Like, I traveled to LA and saw super producer Andrew, and that was intense. Like, if anyone's traveled during COVID, like, that was fucking wild. You know, just like balancing the health risks and trying to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, right? Like, and then also just like, you know, the act of being in quarantine, in air quotes, or not being as social, trying to make things go back to normal, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think I went to one show. I went to 2 shows this year. I saw Alanis Morissette and Alex G. You know, like, that's like what I did musically this year. But like, it was just such a strange time because people tried to make things seem normal when they obviously weren't. You know what I mean? Like, the dating stuff or like seeing people in any capacity that happened like throughout the year, like specifically like in the first like half of the year, you know, like that was strange just because of like the COVID stuff and like the lockdown stuff and like taking risks to see people and all that. And even like, and not even just like romantically, but also like platonically, like hanging out with the homies. Like that was something that I feel like everybody needed, but at the back of everyone's mind, it was like, you knew that you were risking stuff. You know what I mean? The only other, like, aside from like holiday stuff, like the only big thing this year that really happened is I like have a partner now. And I have for, you know, for a little while at the time of this recording. I'm not going to get into it that much, but like, it's great. Like, it honestly is awesome, you know, and I'm like very happy and I'm very thankful. And so, but that was like also a big thing with this year. Just was like, you know, readjusting after being single for a year, like readjusting to having a partner. And anyone who, you know, has gotten back out there knows that like it's a whole thing, you know, it's a never ending thing. Every day is, you know, you have to choose to be in a relationship and be a partner every day. I think people should know that. Mature people, healthy people know that, you know, every day you need to consciously make an effort to be a partner, you know? And so I had to get back into that mode. It was easy for, you know, for multiple reasons for me to kind of do it. But like, that was a big part of this year. That is a big part of my life now, is that I have somebody again, you know? And so I'm not living like a single dude anymore. So I had to adjust to that. Right. And I think that a lot of people this year, like, are doing similar things or have done similar things where a lot of people are breaking up during COVID. A lot of people are cuffing during COVID. Cuffing season doesn't really exist anymore. Like, that is COVID. COVID is cuffing season now. No one wants to be alone, you know, for better or for worse. No one wants to be alone. I see some people making really good decisions socially with marriage and kids and breakups and divorces and stuff, you know. And I see people making foolish decisions, you know, on those same issues, those same topics because of COVID. Because you're starved for social stuff. So maybe you're staying when you should. Maybe you're getting with people when you know it's not your best idea, you know. And like, it is what it is. Like, this has been a year. 2021 has been a year, an unprecedented year, where no one really knows what they're doing. No one really knows what they're doing, but everyone's kind of doing the best they can with work, with your love life, with your platonic social life, with your family. You know, everyone's doing the best they can, I think. I still know people who are trying to just like act like nothing happened. I know people who are trying to actively ignore it through substances and sex and other things that distract us, you know? Oh, that's another thing too, I guess, is that like, I don't really get fucked up anymore. I haven't for a while. I haven't really, like, since I got a partner, but that's not like the thing that's keeping me from getting fucked up. But like, anyone who knows me in real life, like, I don't drink like that anymore. And I don't do drugs at all anymore. Like, I legitimately don't. I don't do any fucking powders, any pills, any nothing. The only thing I do is smoke weed. I drink responsibly. I'll trip if I can. But I'm not doing anything crazy no more. I'm not doing bumps in the bathroom. I'm not fucking doing pills. I'm not going on fucking like drinking benders and shit. Like, I'm not doing any of that. And I feel fucking great. Like, I really do feel fucking great. I like this year, like, I learned how to have like a somewhat healthy relationship with food. You know, like my physical hygiene is better than it has been like in my adult life, because I'm like tired of living like I'm 20. You know what I'm saying? I have health insurance. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. It's been a year of a lot of change, for better or for worse, for me. And I think it has been for all of you guys too. I'm excited to see what 2021 brings. And I'm excited to have you guys in my life for 2022. I'm excited to have you guys here for season 2. I think good things are coming. I mean, it can't be worse than before. I mean, it always can. And I'm reluctant saying those types of sentences, because like I've said on the show before, like, One of the last words I said to one of my best friends was, "It's not like I'll never see you again." And then he OD'd that night and died. But like, not to end, I don't want to end this on a sad note, but I think that everyone is kind of used to COVID stuff now and lockdown stuff now. And so I think that, I think we're in a place where we can make 2022 good enough. And that's the best you can ever really hope for, is just that things are good enough. But, that's the episode. And as always, I want to thank you guys for listening to the show. It really means the world that you guys are still around. And we've been doing this for, over 130 something episodes, and people still listen and shit like that. It's awesome. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. It would be dope as shit if you told your friends as well. Leave us a review if you can. It takes like no fucking time, and it really, really, really helps us out in terms of visibility and shit. You can find The Hatening on all social media platforms, and from there you can find the individual profiles for myself and super producer Andrew. Together we do 2 other podcasts. One is The Fish That Breaks the Surface, which is a Berserk book club. We do that with our friend Nick from the NASA 8. And then the other podcast that we do is called Bolsheviks, and I do that with my friend Kevin. And he does like individual streaming stuff a lot, most nights. So, just kind of, if you can, support the greater family around this show and the podcast stuff that we do. But, most importantly, take care of yourselves and take care of other people, the people around you. And please don't ever forget to tell your friends you love them. We missed you.